Hi Virgo, welcome. So Virgo, this is going to be your reading. I'm going to start with the spiritual general messages, and then I'm going to go into the you versus them love reading. And also my readings are timeless, so I just trust that whenever you find this, that's when it's for you. So let's get into it, Virgo. Ooh, I just noticed on the bottom of the deck, that's your card, the 6th house of the craft. And you also have Cancerian energy crowning the reading. Now you could have Cancer energy in your chart, Moon, Rising, Venus, and or you could be connecting with somebody who does, and or it may just be the influencing vibes. This is highlighting really your feelings more than anything, your emotional self. It is a very emotional and sometimes moody energy, but it could also be very caring and very warm and very nurturing, very intuitive energy. It tends to be very family oriented also, so they may be highlighting family gatherings, family outings, or just the family in general. Sometimes this can be, on the other hand, by the way, because it can be moody, defensive, introverted, a little bit like of an irritation vibe. So just something to be aware of. So let's go a little bit deeper, Virgo, and see what else. You have, the card of mortality. Not my favorite card, but it has a deeper meaning, so we'll look into that. What else for Virgo? What else is Virgo? Well, then you have the card of the source. Wow, a lot of going within here, Virgo. This is really deep and reflective energy. This is all about your inner psyche, your inner psychic, if you will, for my psychic Virgos. This is about like life and death and the afterlife and who you really are as a soul, as a spirit, as an essence. Your connection with God, your connection with yourself, being okay with being alone, the dream state, ESP, deja vu, like, whoa, woody woo over here, Virgo. This is a very intense, deeply meaningful, and deeply spiritual energy showing up for you. So, wow, this may be a time period where it's really not about anything outside of you in the physical world. It's more about going within and getting in tune with your inner world, which I know I have a lot of Virgos in my life. I have talked about this on my platform before. My father, 2 of my children, my fiance, all Virgos. And which is weird, I have 0 Virgo in my personal chart, but I'm surrounded by them. And one thing I will tell you though is, like, you know, Virgo, you get a reputation for being more about the physical world, more so than the spiritual. Like, Virgos are more practical in nature. It's about making things work in the physical world, right? It's about work and details also. But I actually find Virgos to be very intuitive, and I think it's because of your sensitive nature. And a lot of people don't know that Virgos are extremely sensitive, even the masculine Virgos. Yes, you are. You are very sensitive, and you pick up changes in vibration. So it's easy for, I think, Virgos to read other people's energy and to pick up on slight changes in somebody's vibration. You're great lie detectors, you're great investigators, and so you do have like that spidey sense about you just from the nature of being a Virgo. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. So let's get into it a little bit deeper and see what else we've got going on here for you, Virgo. You have the 2 of Wands, the 4 of Cups, and the Strength card. The Fool. Actually, I feel like this is like this, and this is like this. I didn't mean to get this many cards, but whatever, we'll go with it. Give me one more. Oh, not that more. Sorry. I'm having a little argument with my cards. Okay. Okay, one. Can I get one more? Thank you. Goodness gracious. And temperance. So this is interesting to me. The Four of Cups. The first word that I got when I saw this was disappointment. But the Four of Cups has many meanings. It can also be a sense of detachment. It can also be a sense of ignoring one's emotions. But the very first thing I heard and got was disappointment. And I feel like this is something within yourself. Are you disappointed in yourself, Virgo? Why? Why? Like, you should, there's so many things to be proud of. You know, when you feel a sense of disappointment in oneself, I know in society they would say good because that'll humble you. But that, you know what? People seek to control us through our emotions. And so they almost praise negative emotion as if it serves a greater purpose. And really, disappointment is the reason it feels terrible when you feel that in yourself is because it's coming from a place that your source would never agree with. Your higher self, your source, never sees you through the eyes of disappointment, is never disappointed in you, because your source, your higher self, your inner being is unconditional love. And unconditional love and disappointment don't go together. So when you feel that sense of disappointment in yourself or even with another, it's because that sinking feeling you get is you pulling away from the core of who you really are, which is never disappointed in you. It is you deviating from your source. It's you seeing yourself less than you really are. And you are never less than what you really are, because you're always growing and you're always expanding. Now, in human terms, disappointment, though, can show us areas of ourselves where we would like improvement, okay? So it can be a jumping off point. I don't want to say it's a completely useless emotion, because sometimes it is pointing out to us an area where we would like to see improvement in ourselves, in our lives, in our partners, in our whatever. But use it just as that, as a little bit of a emotional marker, if you will, of an area where you could allow yourself maybe to feel a little bit better or to improve your thoughts in some way around, okay? Some of you, though, you're looking at your past disappointments, which, again, Virgo, since you cannot change the past and you're only ever living in the here and now, doesn't really serve you to look at your prior life, your prior self, your prior decisions through the eyes of judgment or judging yourself or being disappointed in yourself. It just doesn't ever feel good, doesn't it? And it's never going to feel good to do that, because your source is always, by the way, living in the here and now, is never disappointed in you. And now you're really deviating from your good, well-being, loved place, right? They want you to instead see whatever this past disappointment was as a turning point in your life. And maybe a turning point in the now, to where you can now turn towards the direction of your improved desire. You know, what did I learn from that, and how can I grow from that? And that's the vantage point that Spirit wants you to look at it from. Not from the disheartened, disappointed vantage point, but from the inspired and advantageous vantage point, because you're not living in a concrete world where nothing changes. Everything is changeable, including you, especially you. So I feel like whatever this past disappointment was, in Spirit's eyes, they saw that as an opportunity for growth and expansion, of which you took, whether you can see it that way or not, and has made you a more confident and strong individual, or at least that was the purpose of it. Now, whether you went along with that or whether you're allowing yourself to see it through that lens, well, that's wholly up to you, right? But that's how your higher self would like for you to see it, Virgo, as an opportunity to improve. Oh, I wasn't expecting to go there. Wow. The Fool and the Page of Wands and Temperance. So here's what's coming on the heels of that. This is about a brand new version of you. Which, aren't we getting ready to go into Virgo season? Yes, we are. Hey, happy birthday, almost, to my Virgos. This is an opportunity to have a clear slate, a clean slate, to begin again, to get excited about life, to have a new experience, to get that more adventurous side of yourself out, to play with the energy a little bit, to get to know yourself a little bit better. This is all about freedom, independence, striking it out on your own. I always said striking it rich. I don't know, for a lucky few, yes. But let's see what else. But first, you got to let go of that sense of disappointment. Stop looking at it. It was what it was. And you are here now. And you're right where you need to be. In fact, you could not be anywhere better than where you are right now, Virgo. And go from now to the future. The Moon, the Three of Wands. Yes, the Ace of Swords and the Ten of Wands and the Reverse. Why am I so extra today? And the Ace of Cups. Hell yes. So, the Moon, again, is about your spiritual path, your intuition, your emotions, your ability to reflect, but also feel, you know, that sense of connection with your own spirit, with your own soul. It's about hooking back up with who you really are, Virgo. And who you really are is so much greater than what you have allowed yourself to be. But Spirit does not want you to feel disappointed in that. Disappointed. Why am I saying like that? Disappointed. Whatever. In that. Because it's all part of the process. It's all part of the journey, right? There is so much more coming for you. So much more than what you've lost in the past. That there is no reason to look back there. There is so much more on the horizon and in your future pathways that if you caught a glimpse of it today, you would feel elated, hopeful, love, happy. You certainly would not give any thought to any of this disappointing energy. The Three of Wands is like things opening up for you. And the Ace of Swords is about knowing. It's about freedom. It's about clarity. It's about, aha, that moment. You know what I mean? Have you ever like wondered like, why did things transpire that way? Or like, why have I gone through whatever I've gone through? And then life just makes it evident to you over time. And then you have like an aha moment. And that's why they say hindsight is what, 2020. Because it's like you get the clarity later on. But don't wait around for the clarity. It's not in the waiting around that you receive it. It's in the living of your life and the letting the future flow into the now. And by letting go of the past, and especially things that have disappointed you, whether you've disappointed yourself or another or your mother or, you know, somebody's done that to you. It doesn't freaking matter. It's all about where you're at now and where you're headed. It's about where you're at now and where you're headed. And it's time to let that burden off of your shoulders. And here's your permission. Let's see what the guidance has to say for my Virgos. You know, I've been in situations where I have disappointed myself. I think we all have, you know, at some point in our lives. But I've done some pretty big oopsies where I had really trouble letting go and like forgiving myself. I want to say the biggest disappointment I've had took me about almost 2 years to truly forgive myself. And that's what it was about, forgiveness of myself, of my own discretions, of my own decisions that led to things that I did not intend, right? Hurtful things for myself, for others, whatever. There's also a sense of guilt that comes with that. And the thing that I found through my journey of forgiving myself, and not all disappointments, by the way, take that long. It's variable. It's different for all of us. Anyways, but you get my drift. Like, one of the real keys to me finally getting into a space of being all right was to just say to myself, okay, and I can't go back and I can't change that, but I can take that as what I will, a lesson almost, as to what I will never be and will never do again. And I can make my promise, a promise to myself about that. And I can move forward from that. And I can take that growth and I can take that expansion and I can make it, I can let it make me wiser and better and smarter and more loving and more kind and more considerate, because I know not what I do sometimes. A lot of disappointments are not intentional, We just be humaning, and then we're like, oops, you know, shouldn't have done that. You know, it's mostly innocent. So forgive yourself, for you knew not what you do. And also know that, you know, your creator, your source, your inner being is not holding you to that fire. Is not, is always loving you, is always proud of you, is always knowing your worth. And the only reason you feel bad is because you're not going along with it. Because you're holding yourself to the fire because you think it serves you. And I promise you, it does not. Card number 20. Flawed premises can attract true unwanted evidence. If you were to hear a false premise again and again until you yourself began to believe and repeat it, now your own activation of the contradictory vibration would interfere with your sense of intelligence, and you would begin to attract evidence of your belief, in effect proving the false premise to be true. And so it becomes increasingly hard for you to call this a false premise when the evidence seems to be telling you that it is true, because over time you came to believe in its truth even though it was always false. Ooh, that is a very interesting card. Card number 20. Wow, let's go into the love reading then. Woo! The you versus them is next. We're going to see what's coming through the relationship sector. I'm going to shuffle my cards and be right back. Stay right there. I'll be back in just a second. Welcome back. All right, Virgo. Now we're going to go back and forth between you and the person you may be connecting with. Keep in mind it is a general reading, so the roles may be reversed. You can flip it if you need to. Take what resonates. Yada, yada, yada. Let's get into it and see. What does Virgo need to know? You have the card of experiencing. Oh, the card of intensity and exhaustion on your person's side. So again, I feel like you're ready for some new experiences here, Virgo. And I picked that up in the spiritual reading, with this being your crowning card that just kind of confirms that. Or there might be some new experiences in store for you during this time frame. Now, this person quite literally may be experiencing intense exhaustion, whether that mental or physical or whatever. They may have something going on over there. I feel like they're intensely trying to like push through this energy, which may or may not be helping the situation. But let's go deeper. We're going to look at the past and what led up to the now, and then how you are both thinking and feeling, and most likely outcomes. So recent past for my Virgos. Recent past when it comes to this person. 8 of Pentacles, the Magician, King of Cups, and the Hierophant. So Virgo, some of you have been working on literally work, you know, manifesting things in your work life and your career life with money, focusing on that 6th house of your craft. Others of you, this is just a sense of like dedicating some time to, again, manifesting what you want. I feel heavily with like your work life, but it could also be within this connection, within relationships or this relationship. King of Cups is a very emotionally in tune, but very deep and sometimes insecure energy. And then the Hierophant is all about following, you know, I just have to say this. I got like a very rigid energy actually when I got this. So rigid in your beliefs. Be careful about that, Virgo. But I was going to say, usually this is about like doing the right thing, you know, despite how you feel. No, I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not here to disagree with you, but I don't know. Yeah, again, I'm not here to agree to disagree, but I feel like doing the right thing. Some of you are pushing yourself to like do the right thing regardless of how you feel, but I always say I'm a big supporter of always listening to how you feel though, because how you feel matters. So just saying. Let's see this person's recent past energy. Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, the Ten of Swords, and the Magician. Sorry, yawning. So I feel like Virgo, whoever you've been dealing with in the past, they have been thinking quite a lot about their future and what they're committed to, what they want to commit themselves to. There's a sense of loyalty here on this person's end, but there's also that sense of exhaustion, right? This person may be trying to manifest better health or a better feeling space for themselves. I heard to clean the slate as well. So they got quite a bit going on here. At least they have in the recent past. So let's go into how you're perceiving each other in the now. What does Virgo think of this person in the now? Oh, Nine of Cups, the Moon, the Four of Cups. The Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Cups to me is like a very satisfying energy. This is satisfied. The Moon is all about like emotional. So there might be a lot of emotional satisfaction in the connection with this person, which is interesting because next to that is the card of emotionally detaching. So, and inconsistent. So I feel there's a bit of that as well. So it's like on one hand, it's very emotionally satisfying. And then on the other hand, it's inconsistent and maybe sometimes like an aloof energy around this person or within the connection. Sometimes I feel like there's a sense of feeling ignored and I heard like you're not around. So I don't know if that's coming from you or them. But it's a very in and out type of vibe here. So let's see how this person views you, the Empress. I'm just trying to have a good time. Oh, I got that song in Libra. Just did their reading. It's Nico Moon, Good Time. That's my favorite song though. The Wheel and the Six of Cups. So when this person thinks of the connection, there's a very caring, like nurturing type of energy here. The Empress to me talks about fertility and growth as well. But there's also the Seven of Cups, so kind of like this indecisive, not completely sure energy. This person may need to release some judgments they have or some preconceived notions about you or the connection. Or maybe you do. The Wheel is a sense of like divine timing though, and the Six of Cups is all about the past and memories. So you may have memories with this person, or there could be that sense of like nostalgia around this, but I also heard you grew up. Well, I hope so. Or grow up, I don't know. Something about growing up. I feel like sometimes this person really wants to nurture the connection, and then sometimes they're not sure. And it's due to their own judgments, by the way. It's not necessarily due to something you're doing, although they may make it that way or maybe believe it is, but it's really their own judgments that get in the way. And it's based on like their past or their past experiences that create that like perception or way of thinking. Like, you know, if you were raised by like super judgmental parents, you tend to be a very judgmental person yourself, just simply because it's active in the vibration, right? And what's funny to me is like people who are raised in a very judgmental environment and they themselves become judgmental, like 9 times out of 10, not every time, 9 times out of 10, they don't even recognize that they are also judgmental. They may recognize it in their family, but they won't recognize it within their self. Because, you know, our ego will put blinders on us sometimes. But at the same time, they tend to be also people who always feel criticized. And yet they are the ones doing the criticizing. You know, life is so ironic. Everything in your life is just simply bouncing back to you who you really are and what you really believe about yourself. And that could be a very eye-opening experience, but it could also be very scary, which is why some people choose to live in the dark. They choose not to see that because they don't want to see that. Then they'd have to do something about that. And a lot of people don't even know where to begin. Better yet, do they want to acknowledge that? But the thing is, it's really actually easy to soothe that energy, but you have to be open and willing to do it. So let's go into the emotions and see what we have going on underneath it all. How is Virgo feeling? How do they feel about this person? Why am I having so much chest pain right now? Like I feel so much tension right here. You know, but it's not like alarming, you know, it feels like stress. It feels like tension, but I'm not under any stress, so it's weird. Okay, so how does Virgo feel underneath it all? Strength card, lovers, woo, the High Priestess, Temperance. You feel very strongly, I think, about this connection and the fact that this is your person, your soulmate, your twin flame, or if it's not an intimate person, that you have a soul tie at minimal. There may be, like, intuitively, you just know, you know, and yet this requires balance. It requires alchemy. It requires for you to be able to stay in control of yourself as well. It's also actually calling forward your more spiritual self, your more spiritual nature, which your spiritual reading was deep, like really deep, Virgo. So let's see this person's heart space and how they feel about you. 3 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Swords, So this is weird too. I feel like this person, they're reaching for, you know, longevity, I feel, within their body, within their health. I don't even know if this has to do with the connection, but also, you know, I could say yes with the connection possibly. They're reaching for this sense of like building a life and working together. You know, this is not short-term stuff. And at the same time, they have this fear of like being alone or having to do it all themselves. And it's just a fear. It's not a reality, but it does cause a blockage for this person. Or they always have this sense of like, I need to be better. I need to work on myself, as opposed to just loving themselves. And let me tell you, something that's really tricky in the spiritual community that I'm not a big fan of is all this self-work. Listen, self-love is not about changing who you are. It is about accepting and loving who you are. I get so crazy. I see all these videos on YouTube, you know, how to remove your shadow. You can't. How to remove your ego. It serves you. Don't remove your ego. How to never think a negative thought. You live in a world of duality. Impossible. It's so much simpler than that. It's just a loving who the F you are. Flaws and all. That's what it is. But you know what? You can't write a book and sell that. So they try to overcomplicate it. But FYI. Saying. Okay. But I feel like this person is also just in this really hopeful space about things moving forward, things progressing. Like they're more in a hopeful space than a fearful space at this point. So let's see most likely outcomes then. Which can be changed with free will, yada, yada, yada. You guys all know that. The Wheel, the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, Knight of Swords, Four of Swords. So the timing is right, but I feel like you have a little bit of hesitancy here, okay? The Queen of Wands and the Knight of Swords, though, is like gearing up to, you know, move things forward after maybe a period of stagnation or waiting for the right time, waiting for the right person, waiting. And now it's like, I'm going to strike while the iron is hot type of energy. And it's because you've done a lot of your own healing, right? So the right timing is coming through. When we're in a space of being connected to ourselves and loving ourselves, divine timing will set up the scenario for you and you don't really have to do much, right? But chill out. I also feel like there could be some news or communication coming through that is maybe putting your mind at ease or helping you feel better about something. And it could be related to the connection, but it doesn't have to be. All right. Or something maybe that you've been waiting for coming through. So let's see this person's next step. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. Death and Rebirth. The 6 of Wands. And the 4 of Pentacles. So this is actually beautiful energy. There might be some changes in the family dynamic. I feel though this is positive, okay? But there's like a transformation coming in the 10th house, as well as within relationships and family for this person. It could also be that they're having some sort of accomplishment or success as well during this time frame. And yet this person seems to be a bit closed off or keeping something close to their chest. What is this? Why are they holding on to burdens? Burdensome emotions. About what? Why am I getting mad at your person? About something they walked away from? They have a disappointment. They need to walk away from something that disappointed them in the past. And that is what your spiritual reading was all about. And lo and behold, the person you're connecting to, same. Go back and watch your spiritual reading. It's hindering them. Let it go. And I feel actually that they are in the progress of doing that. But you know, everyone's journey is different. It could take a second, could take 2 minutes, could take days, weeks, years. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a timeline here, but they are making progress there. But they do have success and change again coming through. And then this, and again, it's coming through the 10th house, but also through family and relationships. Anything else? Also, they're trying to be more open-minded as well about, you know, introducing new things and new people and new ways of doing things into their life. So again, this person is more geared towards this more hopeful energy than anything else. And hopefully they continue to go in that direction. So let's see what the guidance is. Some of them are thinking about expanding their family. Okay, I just have to say that. Card number 10, the essence of my every desire can be fulfilled. If your time-space reality has the wherewithal to inspire a desire, it is our absolute promise to you that your time-space reality has the ability to deliver it in full manifested form, the reality of the desire it has inspired. The essence of any and all desires can be fulfilled unless you are holding yourself out of alignment with your own desire. The feeling of competition or shortage or limitation means you're out of alignment with your own desires. You must point yourself in the direction of your desires. Wow, card number 10. Woo! Virgo, wow, very interesting reading. I'm going to leave it there for now. Zodiac signs you may be connecting with or having your own chart. I've got Pisces, I've got Scorpio here. Pisces again. I've got Aquarius, Cancer, Libra, Taurus again, Sagittarius, Gemini, Leo. Holy crap, they got all the zodiac signs. Pisces again. Those are the predominant signs I'm seeing, but take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it resonated, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check me out on Facebook. I just did a live there not too long ago. You can check it out. Tarot Time with Dana is the name of my Facebook, but all of my social media links are in the description as well as in the About section. And otherwise, I'm wishing you the best. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, my friends, namaste.